Years ago, I had a friend who had the worst luck with cars. Now, it's true, he always bought old used cars. It was all he could afford, but still, he was like a death sentence to those cars. He'd buy the car, and then about 2 years later, it would break down so badly that repairing it was more expensive than replacing it. So one day I was talking to him about the car he'd just bought, and I asked him, "How often do you change the oil?" And he said, "Oil?" In all those years, he had never changed the oil or done any kind of preventive maintenance, for that matter, on a single one of those cars. Sure, he remembered to fill the tank with gas because there was a short-term motivation for him to do that. The car stopped immediately if he forgot. But there wasn't any short-term consequence for not changing the oil. So he just put it off. No wonder he was killing those cars off. As human beings, we need maintenance too. Just as much as a car needs oil and brake fluid, we need regular emotional and spiritual nourishment. Now, we're great at remembering the immediate physical stuff. We remember to eat food every day. But we often neglect to feed our souls the one element essential to our happiness, real love. Like changing the oil, we don't see many short-term consequences if we ignore the real love in our lives, so it's easy to forget. Oh, but the price we pay for that forgetting. Every day, I talk to people who are in various stages of panic about the problems in their lives. Most of them are looking for quick and easy solutions to problems that are a result of a lifetime of not feeling loved. They haven't changed their oil, so to speak, for their entire lives, and now the damage is pretty serious. Most of us tend to respond only when there's a crisis. We fix things rather than building them. We put out fires instead of preventing them. We work on relationships, for example, only when we absolutely have to, when they're broken. That approach can seem quite attractive in the short term because most of the time we seem to get away with our negligence. But it's just a cheap seduction because eventually, as my friend discovered with his cars, there is always a price to be paid. In the long run, which is all that really matters, it's a lot easier and a great deal less painful if we take care of the little things along the way, like changing the oil. So, how exactly do we change the oil in our emotional and spiritual engines? It's real love, more than anything else, that brings us the individual happiness and healthy relationships we've always wanted. We will achieve those goals if, and only if, we make it our life's mission to consistently find real love for ourselves and to share it with others, preferably every day. Even better if it's several times a day. As we do that, we acquire the greatest treasure in the universe. We eliminate emptiness and fear and the getting and protecting behaviors that go along with those conditions. Gradually, we wipe out the conflicts and the crises that cause so much damage to us personally and to our relationships. The effect of real love is nothing short of miraculous. So, how exactly do we find and share real love every day? We have opportunities every hour to tell the truth about our mistakes, to take full responsibility for our behavior, to speak kind words to those around us, and to reach out and perform random acts of kindness. Each time we do these things, we bring more love into our lives. We eliminate the sludge that would otherwise accumulate in the oil of our engines. We breathe health into our relationships. But it's so easy to ignore that emotional and spiritual maintenance, isn't it? It's so easy and natural to speak a harsh word about someone else instead of exercising the faith and humility required to talk about our own mistakes. As we think about taking those initial steps on the path of loving others, we're often seduced and distracted by praise, power, and the pleasures of sex and entertainment. Our justifications for taking the easy road are many. But when the engine finally breaks down, there are no excuses that will eliminate the pain and inconvenience we have brought upon ourselves. Take the time today to contemplate how you have been the cause of the bad feelings in some relationship. To listen with your entire attention to a friend or family member until he or she is completely finished talking. To call someone you haven't spoken to in some time. To meditate or pray and feel the peace and love that follow. To read one of the Real Love books, or to watch a Real Love seminar online, or participate in the weekly radio show. To ask your spouse what you could do to make his or her life easier. To forgive someone for a past grievance. To say, I love you. To apologize for something unkind or thoughtless you've done. To describe to someone a mistake you've covered up. To set aside time to spend with a spouse, child, or friend. The price of ignoring these activities is bigger than we can imagine. Sure, they require effort, and we can think of so many reasons to do them tomorrow. But we can either do them now, we can pay now the relatively small price of time, effort, courage, faith, and convenience. We can change the oil, or we can pay a great deal more later. Which will you choose? It's always about real love. Do whatever it takes to find it and share it, and you'll always find that it's worth the effort.